I am here with Dr. Anand Bhat. Anand Bhat is a young doctor with a whole lot of ideas, and one of the things that we've been looking for a long time is to change the paradigm. And I sat down here speaking to him, and we started talking about drugs, and I found quite a few good ideas that he has. But I want to start by asking him, Dr. Anand, Dr. Bhat, you told me about the WHO. What does that stand for anyway?
So the World Health Organization we're talking about has a list of essential medications every country should have.
And now, when you say a list of all these medicines, just off the top of your head, I know you don't know the exact number, but what kind of numbering are we talking about?
Oh, probably 100, 200. Probably.
Okay. Now, these are essential drugs for all the major diseases, I imagine, or all the diseases around?
All the major diseases, especially HIV, since that would cover many countries that have HIV issues.
Now, when it comes to that list, how do the amount of drugs we produce in the United States compare to that list?
So the crisis we have in the U.S. with generic medications is that we have a couple of things happening. We have people gaming the system by repatenting old generic medications like colchicine and raising the price from pennies to $5 a pill. We also have a crisis with essential medications like flu shots not being available every year. And I had an idea of maybe what we could do that would fix that.
Tell me about that idea, because what I liked about your idea is it handled a whole lot of problems, not only medical problems, but likely employment problems as well.
So I had an idea in terms of, I was living in Ohio at the time when I thought of this, in the Cleveland area, and there's a lot of abandoned warehouses and such, right next to very large hospitals like the Cleveland Clinic, University Hospital. I had an idea why we don't run out of fire hydrants, we don't run out of fire extinguishers, we don't run out of guns. Those are all things needed for national safety, and those are all made in America. So I was wondering, for health emergencies, why don't we use that WHO essential medications list and use them to pre-order the year before the estimated amount of aspirins, flu shots, blood pressure medications, HIV medications. The new one would be the Narcan for the opiate crisis. Pre-order them the year before and have these generic drug manufacturers make them for the state and warehouse them in these former industrialized areas. So you would actually be doing some old industry and new industry. You would have manufacturing employment because you'd have guaranteed generic production because firms would know how many drugs to make. You would need to store them because you're going to have them already at the beginning of the year and slowly use them throughout the year. But then you would have really high-end quaternary economic activity, which would be data analysis using maybe information technologies to start predicting what you need. Maybe you could start predicting forecasting need for medications based on Google searches. People have predicted when people type flu shot into there that there's a spike in the flu in this area, and you could maybe start forecasting. So you actually create some high-end jobs too. So I think it's a win-win because it would reduce prices because of mass purchasing, and then you would provide employment for manufacturing, warehousing, and it would reduce costs for hospitals, and it could also create some really high-tech jobs forecasting demand for medication.
Now, interestingly, is this something pharmaceutical companies would like?
I think generic companies would probably like this. I think they would, yeah. The problem, I don't think any generic companies would have an issue with this. This would keep their business stable from year to year.
But the pharmaceuticals, that would actually eat into their profits, right?
Well, these are generic, so they wouldn't be on patent. So those are different companies.
Okay. Now, that said, I think that you covered this in the beginning where you mentioned that what a lot of these pharmaceuticals like to do is there's a phrase that you use to bring these old drugs that were off patent back into patent.
So they call them, it's called evergreening, I believe is the word, in this field of intellectual property. It's where you take, how do I say this? When you approve a medication, you approve it for a certain indication by the FDA. Mm-hmm. So some of these old medications that were approved are getting reapproved for new indications, making them on patent again, and making them expensive.
So that is pretty much. Wouldn't you consider that in any other industry fraud?
There are ways you could justify it medically some of the time, but that's not what these guys are trying to do. I believe that guy who took the Wu-Tang Clan CD, that guy,
right?
I think he was one of the guys doing that.
Scrunelli or something like that.
Yeah, I think that guy was doing this with the. I can't remember the medicine, but I think it was something very important that he like either repatented or stopped making and jacked up the price.
Dr. Anand Bhat, thank you so kindly. Friends, please click the button here and subscribe to the channel. That is how we get the message out.